Hello, everyone. I'm Andrew Bevan, Multimedia Communication Specialist with Lawrence Public Schools, and you're listening to the Lawrence Public Schools podcast. Big surprise.
Well, hi, Andrew. It's great to be here with you again.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm glad you're here. I mean, the viewership would just plummet if it was only me, so. I don't know if you remember, Dr. Swift. It was a long time ago. You and I started a podcast, and on the very first episode, we talked about something called community conversations. Does that ring any bells to you?
Yes, and really it was our intention from the very earliest days of the fall to get out and talk with our community. And what a great 5-month process that has been.
Yeah, it's been a long process. A lot of things to do in between with analyzing the data, collecting the data in the first place. And we got it from all sorts of groups, all sorts of different people within the district and throughout the city of Lawrence.
You know, Andrew, we heard from folks all over Lawrence. We heard from students and parents and families. We had team meetings convened internal to our schools and our departments across the district. We also, key to this whole effort were the many individuals from nonprofit, business, higher ed, and community leaders who invited us out for an array of community group conversations, the groups that they're affiliated with. So we did a lot of those. You know, we had so many perspectives. Individuals who are 50-plus year Lawrence residents,
Wow.
right alongside folks that just joined our district with their students. We met a few families. They just arrived the weekend before, to start the school year. So we had a wide array of folks.
It definitely seems like it. Certainly from the data that we got, it's pretty clear that there was a wide range of opinions, wide range of backgrounds and experiences here. And that's always great because you need diversity to get a representative data like that.
That's right. You know, Andrew, one of the strengths of this data set, I was a little bit concerned, as I always am when we undertake these things, that maybe clear patterns wouldn't emerge.
Good point.
And I need to take a moment out to give a shout out to our team over at the University of Kansas. Our KU partners in data and analysis really spent and invested their time and their expertise to take a look at all of this data. But what we saw is that within each of the data sets, so the online written survey, the school-based meetings, the community meetings, the staff gatherings, within and across, these similar themes emerged. They might have been stated just a tiny bit differently, but the fundamental themes were so resonant across the community. So that's one of the strengths of this report. The team from KU really remarked to us about how clear and concise and abiding the key themes were.
Yeah, to see those key themes emerge from such a diverse and large set of data points is very, very interesting. So let's go over the key themes that were found in the feedback, shall we? In no particular order, we will begin with the value on quality teachers and staff.
You know, Andrew, I just loved that this came up everywhere we went, and it matches our priorities in the district. But really, this theme was about ensuring we know that the community continues to recognize and commend the tireless efforts of our teachers and our school staff who go above and beyond for students.
Certainly,
our parents and community members just continue to share that they see that, they honor and value that. So inside of that bucket are also those intentions to value our staff in supporting them, at work and making sure that they feel safe and supported in the work they do, and also in ensuring competitive salaries and benefits and wages across the system. The third area in that bucket is really about removing barriers, class size and resource allocation barriers that absolutely make the work of our staff harder. So we got clear direction on that first theme.
Another key theme that was observed in the community conversations data was a shared value for the district's commitment to academic excellence.
This was a theme that we heard everywhere we went, and I love it because it is our critical mission.
Absolutely.
So it's always good when what we want to do aligns with what we're charged to do by our taxpayers and by our parents who entrust us with their children. But it was really about several things. We noticed a pattern with some parents and community members and staff that there was a concern, particularly given the disruptions of the COVID time that we've come out of, but just a concern to ensure that students have their foundational skills in order. And so that was one pattern.
Yeah.
Alongside that was this comprehensive desire for opportunities, academic opportunities, advanced and rigorous programming that would be open to students, and then also opportunities like all the cool programs that you're out taking photos of all the time. But folks really want an enhanced menu of rigorous academic and opportunity-oriented programming for our students.
You know, I have the honor and privilege of going around and seeing a lot of these programs. And I remember getting here in the district, it was so fascinating to hear that I would go somewhere and I would show off a program or a class or a course, and people would be like, wow, I didn't know we had that.
Yeah.
Shining more light on those.
Exactly.
And letting people know where they are, that they're available, that they even exist is super important.
Exactly. And we heard a lot of thoughts in the data about what kind of programming to enhance and even to add.
Oh.
So we're excited to share more about that as we move forward February, March, and April and get folks' feedback on those ideas as well.
Moving on to the another key theme is the priority of safety and discipline.
Yes, we're not surprised by that one, given the times that we live in. But really a couple of patterns inside of that safety prioritization of safety and security in the district. One is about having processes and procedures that are in place at every school. And of course, we do that. But just being sure to communicate those.
Yes.
And that if a safety concern arises, communicating as quickly as we accurately and responsibly can do so.
Yes.
And then thirdly, just those concerns shared by folks across the spectrum with behavior in and around schools. So really wanting to align consistent and high expectations for student behavior so that everyone feels safe and secure when they're at school.
Safety is the number one need in Maslow's hierarchy of needs.
Exactly.
If you're an astute learner.
That's right. The foundation.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's the most important. You can't have anything else without that first.
Exactly.
So having clear guidelines about what those procedures are, what is expected of students and staff is very important. So
exactly.
Can't go wrong with that.
No, it's our top priority, even before our critical mission of teaching and learning, is ensuring the safety and security of everyone at school.
Absolutely. You can't get learning done if you're not safe.
Right.
Another key theme, moving on from that one, a value for equity, inclusion, and belonging. Something that I think you and I have talked about a little bit in these last few podcasts, and something that we are working towards every day at school.
Yes. So, Andrew, we have heard this along a continuum of students from all kinds of backgrounds and needs, but whether that feeling of ensuring belonging, we know that's one of our most important things we do, is to have every student be celebrated for exactly who they are and what gifts they bring to our environment. But we particularly now are even thinking about that more. So whether our students have differences in their needs, whether they have differences in the language they speak at home or LGBTQ plus, all of those areas, we welcome, celebrate, and value our diversity as a strength. And I'm so delighted to share that that was a resonant theme, is to celebrate and ensure everyone feels included and a sense of belonging.
Yes, that's super important. And our differences across our district, across Kansas, and across the United States don't divide us. They make us stronger together.
Yes.
Whatever background you're from, you provide a value. If we were all the same, we would have the same perspectives and we'd make the same mistakes.
Yes.
So having more diversity and having people with different experiences from different places, they make us better, they make us smarter, they make us stronger.
That's right.
Another key theme is the imperative on transparency, communication, and engagement, something that I work with every day.
You do.
I think this is a pretty important topic. Do you want to explain it?
I do. And Andrew, that fifth theme, we actually did place that last because I think that none of 1 through 4 can really happen if we're not attending to this area that's kind of the fundamental structure of our organization, which is ensuring that our communication processes, our consistency, our clarity, our timeliness is all in place and that folks can rely on that consistent communication. And you're right, Andrew, you're on the team, but this wasn't just about at the district level.
Yes.
It was also about, we heard those patterns in the theme of a parent that has, say, 2 or 3 students in our system.
Yeah.
Say the students are participating in different activities. Just aligning that communication where a parent doesn't have to have like a dozen apps on their phone, to keep up with every team and every choir and every band. So we've heard that theme loudly and clearly, and we'll be rolling out some tools to really align communication, not just at the district level, but all through the system.
Yes, throughout the schools.
Pretty exciting, huh?
Oh, super exciting. I'm a little bit biased because I do work in communications, but communication is essential to any organization, to any business, to any group of people. You need to communicate what your ideas are, what your actions will be to the people that have the highest stakes in your work.
Yes.
So I think being transparent and having a conversation with the community is important because they need to be able to trust what we say. We need to be able to have promises that are kept. We need to be able to execute what they desire and the changes that they need.
Andrew, I think of it like when I used to be in math class, we would always be taught that you have to show your work. You couldn't just say the answer. You had to show how you got to the answer. And I think inside of this theme, when I was out listening to folks, I heard a lot that really spoke to that idea of showing our work. So we'll be sharing reports. And when it's needed, just like using our KU partners to analyze the data of this report, when it's needed or when it will strengthen our work, we will use outside experts to confirm. That phrase that says, trust but verify.
Yeah.
And we'll be in that habit.
Yeah.
Because all public organizations need to show their stakeholders the work.
Absolutely.
And how we got the answer we got to.
Exactly. When, the public is the one making the investment in this system, they need to know that what we're doing follows a certain standard.
Exactly. We know the investment of tax dollars. That's
Yes.
important. But what's a more important investment than folks giving us the honor of having their children in our schools? There's no more important investment. So we take that seriously, and I'm excited. Pretty soon it'll be 5 years since we experienced the disruption of the pandemic. And this is an excellent time to kind of press the reset button on those systems of reporting and communication.
I can't believe it's almost been 5 years. It feels like yesterday.
It really does. Time kind of has warped in there a bit, I
yeah.
think.
Yeah, there's a little bit of a time warp for sure.
Yes. So, what's coming next is that we feel like we have a bright light shining on the direction. We'll be taking off here in 2025 to take some meaningful and substantive next steps along these areas of focus.
Certainly.
And I'm really excited, and I know you'll be delighted to go along with me, but we'll be back out in the community, sharing our next steps, and then having folks give us input and feedback on those next steps.
Yes, that would be perfect. Exactly what we were saying with the community engagement part.
Exactly. It's an iterative process that will continue.
As we go on throughout the semester, we will get more and more into how we have improved and implemented this feedback.
That's right. We'll be dialing it in, as they say. Yeah.
Now, before we wrap up this episode, I wanted to take a moment to talk about a few other fun things. Our friends over at Boys and Girls Club announced 2 of our students as Lawrence Youth of the Year, which is awesome. It was Arabella Gipp, a senior at Lawrence High School, which is also the 3rd time that she's receiving the honor. Incredible. And Aiden Kong, a 5th grader at Sunflower, who was honored as the Junior Youth of the Year.
Isn't that the best? Andrew, we've been wanting to do it, and I think it's time now to have student guests on our podcast. Wouldn't that be cool?
On our podcast?
I would be so honored.
I don't know. We'll have to see if we can fit in their schedule.
Yeah.
They're pretty A-list.
In high demand.
Yeah. Their time is very valuable.
I can't wait. I hope we get to do that.
Try and set that up next episode, huh?
Very good.
Okay.
Let's do.
One last thing I wanted to plug before we left. 7 o'clock at the Lead Center, Tuesday, February the 4th, is the All-City Choir.
What's really neat about this, it's all our vocal groups together. And part of preparing for this all-together Lawrence Public Schools concert is our students get the opportunity to work with an outside professional clinician in preparing the music for this concert. So I can't wait to see how great that all-city choir concert's going to be. There's a lot to be hopeful for here as we jump into February. I don't know what happened to January, but we're jumping into February, and I'm really excited about our next steps.
February, if it's anything like the last month, it's going to be very eventful.
Lots going on in the district.
Indeed. All right, and we'll talk about that next time on the Lawrence Public Schools podcast.
We will.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Swift.
Thank you, Andrew.
And have a good one, everyone.